Is it okay if we just take the next few minutes and talk about our most recent European river cruise? Actually, our first and only European river cruise, but our most recent vacation and why it was absolutely our favorite. My name is Shauna Brooks, and my husband and I just returned from a European river cruise of the Roselle now of the Mosel and the Rhine rivers. And there are just so many reasons why this was our favorite trip. And that's kind of odd because usually either one or the other likes something more than the other. But both of us would say without a doubt that this has been our most favorite trip ever. And I would say one of the reasons is just because of all of the beautiful scenery that we got to see. We got to step off of a boat every day and enter a completely different culture, something beyond extraordinary, just completely different than what we're used to here on a daily basis. And I just think there was a novelty about it and just an appreciation for how much older everything is in Europe than what we have here in the United States. All of the cobblestone streets, just the completely different way of life, not seeing as many cars on the roads, seeing a lot more people walking, people riding bikes. We saw a lot of that. And in some places, we even saw streets where it was almost like the walkers and the bike riders and the occasional car and truck drivers just kind of knew how to intermingle with each other. And it was really, really different and unique. And I just think stepping off of the boat every day into a different culture was just such an eye opening and amazing experience for both of us. Another thing that we both appreciated was that we had a tour guide available to give us insider information that we wouldn't have been able to get on our own. He and I have been on trips. We've been on lots of neat vacations. We've been on other all inclusives. We've been to beautiful places. We've been outside of the country before, but I think what I loved about this is that our tour guide was very experienced. He had tons of knowledge, not only about the areas where we were visiting, but about history in general. He was so well prepared and so knowledgeable. That was such a benefit to us as a visitor and as a tourist. We got off the ship every morning, and our tours were usually about 90 minutes long. And it was before the cities got crowded, before it got super hot during the day. And 90 minutes was long enough to expose us and give us a taste, point out certain highlights to us, give us, some of the history of that area. But then after that, we had our own free time. We could either go back to the ship, have lunch there at the ship provided for us, or we could stay in town. We could choose to pay for our own lunch in town. I think there was even one day where the cruise company gave us spending money to have lunch in town, and that was pretty cool too. And I thought the amount that they gave us was very generous as well, and that was neat. But we could stay and go around the city on our own a little bit, or we could head back to the boat. We could rent some electric bikes that our travel company made available for us. We could take time just sitting on the sun deck of the boat. We could go back and take a nap during the afternoon. We had a long period of time in between our morning tour and our evening dinner. And that was really neat. I appreciated the combination of both the guided tours and the free time to do a little exploring ourselves or just to go back and relax. If maybe we were in a city, there was one of the cities in particular that was more modern. It was called Bonn. It was in Germany, Bonn, Bonn. And that city was more modern. And to us, it just didn't have the same charm an appeal that some of the other cities had. So we spent that afternoon mainly just going back to the room and relaxing, taking a nap, watching a little TV. But I appreciated the fact that we had the combination of the guided tour and our own free time as well. Another thing I appreciated about this particular tour and this particular company was just how well organized they were. I mean, this was not their first rodeo. They've done many, many tours. You can tell that they have been doing this for a long time. I think this particular company, which by the way is called Grand Circle Travel. You're not going to see any ads by them. They don't do a lot of promotions. They don't do any advertising. Their company is spread by word of mouth. It's part of why their cost is a lot less than their competitors. But they really, really know what they're doing. Not only have they been around a long time, their tour guides have been doing this for a very long time. I think this was the 18th year for our specific tour guide, and a lot of their staff members on the boat have also been with them a long time. So you could just tell in their customer service, in the way they knew what to look for, what was coming up. On a river cruise, and this is something I never knew before, there are different locks that you have to go through on these rivers. And it's something you don't experience when you're out on the ocean in these big, huge ships. But on a river, you have to deal with varying heights in the water level. And so there would be locks that you have to go through that adjust and raise and lower your ship to accommodate for the different water levels. And before our trip, before we even took off, I mean, I think this was a couple of weeks before our trip, the company found out about a broken lock that was going to affect part of our trip and where we were able to go to. And they not only prepared us ahead of time so that we knew what was coming, but they also went above and beyond to make up for that part of the trip that we were going to miss out on. And so the organization of this company was just exceptional. I think piggybacking with the organization and the experience of the company was also their customer service. It was just top notch. Definitely, I would say 10 out of 10, maybe 9.9 out of 10, super duper close. The only reason I didn't give it a 10 is because I am picturing in my mind one. Isn't that awful? That's just human nature. I'm picturing one specific person that didn't always have a smile on her face. And that's awful because everyone else was just uh, amazing. And they not only remembered your name, they would remember what type of beverage you would want with your lunch or dinner, whatever. Customer service was top notch. Another thing that I think made this trip special was just the people that we were traveling with. There were no kids on this trip, and the average age of the guests on the ship was probably retirement age. I don't even know average age, probably early 70s, maybe. I'm just guessing. I'm speculating. I think there were 122 passengers on our river cruise boat. And so you kind of got to know them a little bit better than you would on a huge ship with thousands of people. And I just think they were a delight. These were people from all over the country. Many of these people, by the way, were repeat customers of Grand Circle Travel, and I think that also speaks very highly of the company. Many of these people had also done river cruises with other companies as well. I can't remember all of them. I think Norwegian, I think Viking, but hands down, they said Grand Circle Travel not only had the best customer service, they said that their food portions and the quality of the food with Grand Circle was just leaps and bounds ahead of the competition. So that was pretty cool as well. Last but not least, I would also say the value that we got for our money was exceptional. Here's an example. So this is 2025, and in February we went to Puerto Vallarta to an all-inclusive, and we spent 10 days there. I can't remember if it was 10 nights, maybe 9 nights, 10 days, right around that ballpark. And I believe we spent about $7,500. That includes our airfare, and again, that was an all-inclusive. For this trip, for this European river cruise, we got something completely new, completely different, including our international airfare and our transportation to the boat from the airport, all inclusive, beer, wine, coffee, soda, all included. Additional cocktails, you were on your own there. But all in for two people, we paid a little over $10,000, and that was for a 16-day trip. So for me, 10 days, 7,500, or 16 days, a little over 10,000. International airfare. It was just a great deal for the money, in our opinion. We're also doing a trip later this year to Aruba, an all-inclusive 6 nights, I believe, maybe seven nights. All-inclusive was about $8,400. So for the money, for the food we got, and it was just top notch breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In the dinners, here's an example of what you got. You sometimes on some of the meals, you got not only a cold appetizer, warm appetizer, soup, entree, and dessert. Lunch, you got soup, full salad bar, which was beautiful, fresh, amazing, made to order stuff, full entree and dessert. Breakfast, full breakfast bar, and then made to order omelets as well. So, again, for the value, I just think it can't be beat. If you have been considering doing a river cruise, I'm just going to highly recommend that you take a closer look at Grand Circle Travel. Their website is gct.com. Get on their email list. And if you have a little flexibility in your schedule, um, maybe you can get a great bargain by doing a last minute trip. You can definitely save a lot of money that way. And if you're a little more adventurous, the same company has a sister company, OAT. 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 I think it stands for Overseas Adventure Travel. And those are a little pricier, but the groups are a little bit smaller. And I think from what I've heard, you get like settled into the culture a little bit even more than you do on the European river cruise. Oh, I forgot one more thing. One of my favorite parts of this trip, how could I forget? We got to have an afternoon inside of a home of a local husband and wife. They had cake and tea and coffee for us, and we just got to um, interact with them. These group sizes, there were probably about 7 or 8 of us in a group, and we just got to visit with them. We got to tour their home. We got to ask them questions and just understand a little bit more of what it was like to live there in Germany. And that was just such a neat experience as well. So, anyway, again, check them out. Specifically, check out Grand Circle Travel. And if you end up going one, I would love to hear about it. Come back and let us know. Thanks.